Greetings. Today we're going to demonstrate how to install an anti-glare film on a large monitor. Large monitors typically have very glossy display surfaces, which can make viewing less than ideal and contribute to eye strain. Here you can see we've stripped the center of this monitor with RadTech's TSAG02 HD film. This is our finest grain film, which offers medium glare reduction, which you can see dramatically improves the viewability of the monitor in this environment that contains a lot of reflection, incident light, etc. So let's jump right into it. RadTech offers a number of custom designed films for a variety of applications. We manufacture films up to 1070 millimeters wide by an unlimited length. The best way to install the film is to use a clean room. However, for the installation that we'll be showing you here today, we did not use a clean room. We did that to demonstrate that it is possible to install films in a typical environment. It takes a little bit longer and you have to be a little more careful, but it is completely possible. What's needed for installation? If you're just starting out, we recommend 3 people. Eventually, you'll be able to do this with just 2. A low or dust-free environment is best. Coveralls, hairnet, and shoe covers will minimize any dust falling from your clothes. Filtered compressed air, a non-residue cleaner like RadTech OmniCleanse, non-shedding anti-static wipes, RadTech's Optex fabric is the best, anti-static dryer sheets, Bounce works best, a 3M Scotch-Brite lint roller, don't use anything else here, a bright flashlight, masking tape, the painter's variety is best, and Scotch invisible tape. First, we need to give the monitor a good cleaning. Whether it's new or used, there's going to be dust entrapped in the monitor and under the bezel. Here, we're using 100 psi compressed air just to remove any entrained dust and debris. You want to thoroughly and methodically blow the monitor off, and you want to do this outside of the clean room so that you don't introduce any dust into your clean area. Whether you're using a clean room or not, it's always best to disable the HVAC system to minimize any circulating dust. Next, we want to wipe down all of our work surfaces with a non-linting, water-dampened cloth. This will remove any dust that has accumulated on the surfaces of any object within our installation area. Installing these films typically generates a fair amount of static, which will pull dust off of any nearby object. So it's a very important step to guarantee a good installation. Moving on, we need to position the monitor on a stable work surface. Keeping the monitor at a height of 30 to 32 inches we find is ideal. Next, connect the monitor to a grounded outlet. Make sure the outlet and any extension cords that you use are grounded. The grounding helps with the buildup of static, and the monitor does not need to be switched on once connected. Handle the film very carefully. It's fairly easy to crease this material, so handle it gently and make sure to never pinch it. Next, we're going to wipe both sides of the film with a dryer sheet. This will greatly minimize static electricity buildup. We want to methodically wipe back and forth across the entire sheet on both sides of the film. The next thing we'll do is to remove the outer protective sheet or mask. To do this, we're going to attach a small piece of Scotch tape to one of the corners. The front of the film is marked, so just be sure you're peeling the front protective sheet off. Bend it back and keep the protective sheet pulled back low against the main film. That will keep it from buckling or creasing. Just kind of fold it back on itself, holding the main sheet, and continue to peel that protective back away until it's fully separated from the main film. Next, we're going to clean the display panel, then tack it off with a lint roller, and lastly check for any residual dust with a flashlight. The first step is to thoroughly clean the display. Whether it's a brand new display or a used one, we typically find that there can be a fair amount of gunk on the display surface. Make sure that your work area is well lit so you can ensure that the display is squeaky clean. Use a good non-residue cleaner. We recommend OmniCleanse for this, as it will definitely not leave any residue whatsoever and will thoroughly clean the panel on a microscopic level, ensuring that nothing remains on the surface. It's important to very methodically clean the entire surface and make sure it is absolutely clean. Next, we'll use the lint roller to remove any remaining dust which may have accumulated on the surface of the display. We want to methodically roll across the entire display with the roller. Slightly overlapping your strokes works best. Just make sure to cover the entire surface. Once the monitor is clean, we want to lower the lights in the room and use a flashlight to inspect the display surface. This works very well to expose any remaining dust. With the flashlight in one hand, use the lint roller to pick off any dust that you see. Use a small loop of the blue painter's tape to pick off debris from the corners and along the bezel. Working quickly, we're going to transfer the film to the monitor, center it, and tape it into place. So let's drop our film in, and we want to inspect the margin all the way around at each corner, making sure we have identical margin. Once we have the sheet in place with identical margin all around, we're going to tape the corners. We want to put a little tension on the film to make sure it's nice and flat. So just give it a little traction, pop the tape on, then we'll move to the other side. Again, we want to put some traction on the film, make sure that our margin is still identical, and once we're sure of that, move back to the first side and tape the center. Next, we're going to run some tape all the way across the film. Starting at the end we've anchored, we're going to move up about 6 or 8 inches, put our first strip of tape, then we're going to go about 12 inches beyond that, and finally we'll do one more. We'll leave about 18 inches of non-taped film at the end. Then we're going to attach a strip of tape right to the center of our free end. Just like that. Next, we're going to gently roll the sheet back, and we're going to separate the backer sheet. So using the tape on the corners we did before, we just want to grab the backer sheet, pull it back. We're going to expose about 10 inches of film. Now when we're doing this, we want to be careful not to touch the adhesive side. So we'll use that tape handle that we installed earlier and pull the backer. So we're going to take scissors and just cut away. 8 to 10 inches generally works pretty good here. So we're going to go ahead and just cut that off. And then we're going to cut that piece of backer into 2 parts. And we're just going to kind of cover each end of the exposed adhesive with this backer material. Next, we'll grab and put some traction on the film, and we'll kind of stick the center down. This is just to give us an initial adhesion point, and again we'll make sure that the film is still centered. Starting at one corner, just kind of pull it back and remove the backer sheet, and then we'll slowly roll this corner into place. Use a soft cloth to just kind of walk it along. We want to remove any entrapped debris or generally any air bubbles at the time of installation. If this is your first install, it may be hard for you to discern an air bubble from a piece of debris, so it's best if you just if you see any sort of inclusion, just take care of it. Some tape wrapped around any sort of slender object works well for picking debris out of the corners, as you see here. And again, we'll go back to just rolling this leading edge of the film down. Here we're using a credit card on top of a soft cloth just to sort of push the air out as we go. Let's pause here for a moment and take a look at the various types of inclusions that you're likely to encounter. The first is a simple air bubble. An air bubble is just a white circle. Typically it's going to be less than 3 millimeters in diameter. If it's less than 2, we really don't need to worry about it. It will not show up when the monitor's on, and in 24 or 48 hours, most air will outgas through the film, so they will disappear on their own. The next is a dust or debris inclusion. Those are characterized by a dark spot in the center of a white circle. Because there is some debris under the film, this will never go away. So it's generally a good idea to take care of that as you're installing the film. Very easy to do. If you see a white circle with a dark center, stop, get rid of it. You'll be much happier. The third is a hair or fiber inclusion. Same thing here. That hair or fiber is going to prevent the spot from outgassing, so it's always going to show. So always better to remove these at the time of installation. Let's take a look at an actual 3 millimeter debris inclusion, just so you can get a sense for how visible it's likely to be. As you can see in the dark scene, it is visible, just barely. However, in the lit scene, you can't see it at all. And we're magnified. We're very close to the screen, so at typical viewing distances, you'll never see either of these. Back to the film, we've laid down our leading edge, both sides, and now we're getting ready to just cruise with the rest of the film here. So we're using the lint roller to sort of clean ahead of where we're working. We've got somebody on the back side just pushing the film down, inspecting for any inclusions. And as you can see, we're pulling the backer sheet away. We're maintaining a little bit of curve in the film. And I think we've got a shot here where we kind of go around the side, and you'll be able to see that better here shortly. But as long as we keep the surface clean, the film will roll down very quickly. Now here we've identified a debris inclusion, and we're going to stop and take that off right away. There you go. There's a better view. So you can see this curve that we're sort of keeping in the film. Now we're pretty experienced with this, so as we roll this down, we're going to see a couple of air bubbles, and we're not going to stop to take care of those because we know that an air bubble is something that will outgas and we really don't have to worry about. So our eyes are kind of trained to look for debris inclusions. If it's just air, we're not going to let that stop us. So here we go. You can kind of see the curve again. You see the backer sheet, how we want to just keep the backer sheet lifted away from the film. And as we get near the end here, the end you kind of have to go on faith. So it's very important to make sure it's clean, and then the last 3 inches or so, you just sort of have to pull the backer sheet off and let it drop. But if you use the flashlight and the lint roller and you keep things clean, boy, they just go in there really nicely. Okay, time to wrap it up. We're going to do a final cleaning on the film with an ammonia-free non-residue cleaner like OmniCleanse. While we're cleaning the film, we can inspect it for any inclusions. If we find an inclusion larger than 3 millimeters, you may want to consider removing it, especially if it's a debris inclusion. To do that, simply attach a piece of tape to the closest corner of the film. You'll be able to lift the film off of the monitor, lift it very carefully back to the point where the debris is, and use tape or the lint roller to pick it off. If you have any questions or comments, please don't leave them here on the video. Contact us directly, support@radtech.us, or call 877-777-9088, extension 106. To obtain a custom-sized film quote, write us at info@radtech.us, same phone number as above. And to order film, write us at orders@radtech.us, same phone number, extension 102. And if you're daunted by the whole affair and don't think that you want to install film yourself, but you would like to experience the benefits of the film, we do installations, so contact us and we'll arrange getting your monitor to us and we'll install the film. Thanks for watching.